get started. So it's kind of a quiet day, partly because the college is closed, and partly because of the G node we're in. You know, things are kind of unique. So we read the reading. What was the reading about? Yeah, it's like we're running through the summer, and we're certain because things are just working, right? And we kind of get to the other side, and we want things to just continue to go our way, and they're starting to not go our way, right? Things are starting to shift. The energy's pulling in. We're uncertain. There's a lot of those things happen with the Chi node, and so we start to notice around us that people are still pushing really hard, like things can, and so people are agitated, they're excessive, you can't tell them no. This time of year, it's really hard to tell somebody no. You can divert them, you can redirect them, but if you try and say no, they're going to explode, right? We're kind of at that stage where people are full of energy, and it's trying to push in on them because the Chi's turning around, and even if they're not following the system, which 24 Chi nodes, they're following it. I mean, it's nature, it has to happen. So one of the things that we talk about this time of year, or one of the examples that I'm beginning to realize is a really good example this time of year, is a balloon, right? In the beginning of summer, it's limp, and we're blowing it up through summer. And about midsummer, we tie it off, thinking, this is it, this is what I need, right? And then the end of summer is starting to come, right? And all this pressure is starting to push in on it, and it's not giving, it's trying to explode, right? So if you keep pushing, it will pop, right? And so we're seeing that in people. Anybody that's easily agitated will have that issue. Anybody that sees, right, things coming to an end and they don't want it to, are starting to push to try and get things done. And it's kind of like, well, we're really close to the edit time. And so now's the time to realize, okay, well, that plant isn't going to keep producing. We might as well cut it off and be done with it instead of be coming out there every day and trying to think that it's going to do more, right? It's not going to do more. And a lot of the summer plants are like that, right? Things that came from spring into summer are dying off. And things that are from summer into fall are just starting to flourish. But the way that you treat them are differently. Anything that came up in the spring and summer isn't going to keep into fall. Anything that comes into the late summer, fall, you can keep it till next year. Just put it on the shelf. Just, it's fine, right? And so we don't want to hang on to stuff. If we've got stuff going, we've got to look at it and go, okay, is this going to go bad on me? Then we need to close it up now, right? We need to get done with it. We need to be done, right? So rot in the field is a big danger. I think last week we talked about rice. The rice harvest is coming. Rooting the rice won't do you any good.
Right.
But if it suddenly rains, you got to look at the rice. Is it going to mold? Right? If it's too much rain, it could mold. So you need to do something. It's going to rain. Okay, you'll have to harvest early, and just deal with it. So those kinds of decisions we need to look at ourselves, and we need to kind of make those decisions, or at least evaluate what's going on. Lu Ming says, one of the students in the class asks, "Is this a time that you can release trapped heat?" And he says, "Yes, for next year. It's too late this year, right? Because we're already at the stage where you should have already been doing things to prepare to release heat at this time of year. This is the right time for it if you've prepared." But when she asked, it's already too late. Well, for next year, sure.
Yeah, why not?
It's a great time of year, but you have to plan for it. We should have been doing a lot to get there. Anyway, that's kind of where we are in the idea of this Chi node and the Chi and how the energy is flowing. Any thoughts on that? Everybody's okay with that? Okay. So then the next thing is ourselves. right? Am I God? Are you God? Are we God? I mean, is everything God? Right? So we see that reading being absolute is us starting to turn in and question what's going on, right? Where really are we? We talk about it as coming to the beginning of summer. We want to be focused because summer's going to be pushing us along, and we're just doing great. It's like, wee, you know, and then you get to the other side, and you've got to kind of go, okay, well, where did I end up? Right? It's like a wormhole. You don't know where you dump out of, right? We're going into the wormhole. We're going to Neptune, or we're going to, you know, Centauri or something, and you come out of the wormhole on the other side and go, okay, where the hell are we? You know, where did we go? How far off track are we, or are we on track, right? So we're needing to start evaluating where did we end up at the end of the summer, and we're kind of coming to the end of summer, so it's kind of time to start evaluating, did I get off track? If I got off track, can I correct? Is it too late to correct? Then don't worry about it, right? So we're coming to that stage of edit where it's like, well, it's okay, right? Acceptance, understanding, right? All that stuff is all in the readings lately, and will be coming up in a couple more of the readings, because you can't, you know, it's like, this is a great time to really see next year. It's too late this year, but it's the right time, you know, if you were prepared. So that's kind of where we are, right? With that comes the way the body's feeling. So we get this sensations, energy seems to be welling up, but it's being blocked. And so we're kind of getting that something doesn't feel right feeling, you know? And we see everybody else out there, as I said earlier, they're wanting to keep things going, and it looks like it's not going to happen, and so they're just, yeah, I really got to do this, you know, and it's like, you know, maybe next summer. So with that, we find the body balance is off, right? We may sense the body balance as being a little funky. We can't get stuff out of our head. If something's caught up with us, or if somebody's injected some emotion into your system, you can't shake it. It won't go away, right? And so that's another part of that accepting. You got to just accept that it's this time of year. We just went through a full moon, and it's this chi node. Both of those things combined, I've got heart palpitations, I've got, you know, rattly brain. I mean, all these things are all going at the same time. It just happened to be the sequence of events. The moon, full moon, and the chi node are all, you know, big shovel, not a small shovel. You know, it's a big shovel. And so you start getting that character going on within the body. So how do we help ourselves, right? How do we clear the mind? How do we clear the body? How do we move forward, right? Part of it is just letting go. You're going to move forward. This isn't stopping you, right? If you stop letting it control you, or thinking that it's, you know, I can't move on without resolving this. Well, you know, you might as well stop now, because that's life, right? That's how every year we got to this point. So it's important for us to realize that we can let that go. And in doing so, we're just accepting the facts of the body, of our age, of whatever influences we're having, of just being there, and they're going to continue to be there. You know, you gotta just not worry about it, right? Everybody okay with that? I could go on for hours, so I'm going to stop, and we're going to talk about intention, right? Mm-hmm. And so now the intention has changed. Things are going, right? But what am I really intending to happen? If I'm still focused on the yang, and I'm still focused on that energy moving and making things happen, then I'm still thinking things are trying to happen when they're not. That's why it's rattling around in the brain. That's why you're having we gotta do something. Really? I don't think so. You know? Right? So the intention has to change, and the intention is simply to say, this is the way it is. right? And I am doing what I need to do. And we are going to get to tomorrow, and right, things will continue. And so this time of year when we talk about silk reeling and we talk about the moving exercises, we want to find something that doesn't have to accomplish something, right? It doesn't have to do anything. It just moves. It just allows things to move. So one of the things we talk about is the Bagua circle walk, right? So you do that circle walking exercise, you're just going around in a circle, right? I'm not trying to get from point A to point B, I'm just going around in a circle, right? And it helps embody that character, that influence of this is life. It's just a circle, it just keeps going around, right? And so then you find the ways of the movement in your body to kind of extend the energy, allow the energy to move through you. Because if I was just to start walking in a circle, I'm focused on the ground, and that's not a good idea, right? Because that's just driving me into this, right? And so I want to be up, and I want to be thinking about something other than just walking in a circle. And so in the Bagua system, we turn our hands to the inside of the circle, like we're holding on to a newel post or a,
Maple.
Maypole, thank you. Right? So get that sense that we're focusing on the post and we're going around the post, not just staring at the ground and going, burning ourselves into the ground. So then somewhere in the middle of it, turn and come back the other way. So now you're going around the other direction. And you want that same thought. I'm looking at the post in the middle and I'm turning around the post, right? You want to get a sensation of that it's the post, not me, right? I'm not going around in a circle. I'm following the pole, right? I'm seeing the post and I'm moving around the post and I'm looking at the different ways the post looks on each side, right? It's a matter of engagement. It's kind of like the mandala idea, right? When we look at a mandala, it's very complex and it's very wild and it's got all these different colors and lines and everything in it. And it gets less and less complex until it gets to the center and it's a simple mark in the center or a void, right? And the idea is that we look at this thing and contemplate as we move in to that one spot, that one color, that one void, right? And so when we're thinking about this moving exercise, we want to be observing the pole in our mind or the world around us, right? If you're looking past the pole and you're seeing everything moving around in the world, then we know the world and we understand all the directions, and that's more Taoist, right? It's understanding all the directions and seeing the directions. But the ultimate is that pole. The ultimate is that center. And in the beginning and middle of summer, we talked about the center. What is the center? It's the stillness. You're moving out here, but in the center, it's hardly moving at all, right? It's very still in the center. And so that's that kind of letting us realize that it's there still. And then we can get back to it, right? Instead of being out here running along with summer, right? If we bend that idea of a line being pushed through the Chi on summer, if we push it into that circle, right? The line becomes the outline of the circle. We're moving really fast, and as we move towards winter, we're actually moving closer and closer to the center where we're actually just kind of turning, right? When we get to winter, we're just gently turning and watching the sun. I liken it to wave hands like clouds. You do this, you do all the martial arts moves, and you get all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look at that cloud. Right? Oh, there's another one. Oh, look at that, right? You kind of get that sensation that things change. So let's take a look at that, right? So let's say we start on this side of the room, because that's our, for anybody that can, start on this side of the room and face forward. I'm sorry, face the camera. Face the, right? And so we're going to bring the left hand up, and at the same time we're going to bring the left foot out. And we're going to look up at the edge of the hand. I want to look over the top of my hand, and I'm going to watch it brush across as I move with it. And as I get to my other leg, I'm going to put my feet together and change hands, and then look across the top of my hand and watch it as it goes across. Slowly shifting from my left leg to my right leg. And then when all my weight's on my right leg, I'm going to step out, change hands, and slowly watch off the edge of my hand. I'm not really watching my hand, I'm just kind of watching across, and then shift feet, shift hands. Get that sensation that things are just kind of okay, right? Things are just slowly moving across. Keep going if you can. So with this, as I'm coming across, I want to be inhaling, and then when I get to about the middle, I'm going to start exhaling. You feel it turning the waist. And inhale, and then exhale. It's kind of different than the other techniques in some ways. If we're following the body, it'll tell you when to exhale. You turn to the side. Yeah, go ahead and relax for a moment. And so with that, right, you get that nice let it go feeling, or let it be feeling. And so finding that in our movements helps the intention connect back to us, right? So that we then can realize, okay, my intention is to do this. But when somebody comes in and says, I need this done, oh, I don't have time, right? That wasn't my intention. But because of the G node, it could easily come out, right? And so we want to be willing to accept that, and at the same time, try to find ways to reconnect to our true intentions. So when that stuff does happen, well, I will try, Is there someone else that you did it sooner? Maybe, in larger groups, it's kind of a diversion technique, but yeah, it works. It works. Especially this time of year, you might need to use that. Mm-hmm. Okay, any thoughts on the movement? Breathing in balance? Everything felt okay? Okay.
No.
How did it feel?
It did not. I mean, I try to get balance when I'm off. I feel off. But I just feel it's the energy. I'm just trying to get, especially as my left leg, my foot. So it just, that was, and then it took my mind off of, because I was trying to work on my foot. So
sure.
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So it just needs.
Yeah, and one of the things we talk about in lessons all the time is that when we're standing upright, we don't have balance. When we bend our knees, our feet engage, and we can feel it. right? So stand up like this, I feel my heels, and maybe the ball of my feet, and maybe my toes, but I'm not really sure. But I bend my knees, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can really feel the ball of my foot, I can really feel my heel, right? You kind of get that sensation?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and start, let's do the opposite. We're not going to use the hands
Okay.
as much as I just want to bend my legs,
Okay.
step out. How's the balance feel?
It's actually much better.
Slide across. Notice you're all on one foot, the other foot's free. It's easy to pick up and put together. Shift feet or shift the weight from one side to the other slowly. Slide the foot out. Feels good. Slide across. Get all the way over there. There's no weight. Step in. Shift weight slowly back to the other side. Step out. And slide across.
So Tim, when you step out, do you do a toe heel or do you go to the side of the foot? How do you do that? When you're stepping out, is it a toe heel or is it a flat step out?
Put your feet together.
Okay.
Step out.
I
How did you know my foot was there?
was working with my toe.
Okay. So it's like this,
Okay.
right? It's not, it's not cranked over like this.
Okay.
But the idea is, if I'm going to step out there and I don't know what it is, I want to put it down on the inside and then roll on it, so I can say, oh, okay, can I roll onto that? Is that safe to roll onto?
Yes.
Right? And we talk about that with heel to toe. You put the toe down, you touch the ground,
Yes.
and then you set the foot down, right? You slowly put the foot down. So when I reach out to the side, I reach out with the inside of my foot and I put it on the ball,
Okay.
and then roll down and then roll out.
Okay.
So it rolls in and out.
And that's more stable for me to do it that way.
Yeah,
Doing
also-
it this way, it was kind of like.
Yeah, also
but-
bending the knees,
Yeah.
but putting it out sideways and then rolling it
too.
down is more of a sensory thing. We talk about knowing the ground without seeing the ground, right? It's touching and seeing what's going on, what's down there. Can I put my foot on it? Little weight's good, okay, good, yeah, it's good, you know. So we don't want to just, right, we don't want to jump on it. We want to slowly check the ground, feel it out, move across, right? We want to be completely engaged in the simple action of movement, right? Why waste our time with, well, this is idea, I could get, move faster, I could do this, stay here, right? Be engaged. And so we talk about that a lot in how the readings read, and how meditation is supposed to work. Oh, I got all this work, I got it. Take a deep breath, I guess it can be, right? It's that clearing. And right this time of year, there's a lot of clearing. Because the summer heat, we got clear space, and we'll be talking more about that really soon. Because it's going to really start collapsing the internet. Okay, so any other thoughts on the movement? And balance? Balance better?
Balance is much better.
Bending the knees?
Yep, keep forgetting, but you do it after all these years.
I was remember because when we were hiking on the weekend in Syria, there was this piece of wood across the creek, and so that's like the way you try. So if you mention I'm putting some weight here, but I'm always ready to go back. It starts to collapse, so that's what and might change that. And I remember it can be difficult, like that's not going to be good if I'm trying my
Yeah,
knees.
I can't reach up there unless I bend
my knees, and I can always escape them in some way, but it can go back. It's great. It didn't fall.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Okay. So that kind of covers the general ideas for the class. Any other thoughts or anything? Yeah. We're kind of running for time.
12:30?
Oh, isn't that weird?
You just know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the standing position, and we'll look at what the closing energy means today. So if you just relax, bend the knees, and allow the feet to join the ground. You should be able to shift it. You should be able to just sit back and relax. If you feel the heart and lungs and the brain chattering, think of the feet. Think about the ground. Think about the balance. Think about the sensation of the feet. Let that be your focus. Let that take over any of your concerns about breath, heart, chatter, and all those kinds of things. We're still at the end of the Yang Chi notes, so a little extra exercise is good. So spread the feet out a little bit wider and reach the hands out in front and squat down. We're going to turn the prayer wheel. Inhale up and then pull in. And exhale down. Reach out, inhale up. Go to the outside of the feet. Draw them in and pull back to the heels. Exhale and come down. Roll to the inside of the feet. Roll to the heels. Inhale, rise up. To the outside of the feet. And exhale down to the heels and back inside. Good. And let the fingers connect down to the toes. Chi Gung, closing Chi Gung, palms out, inhale, rise up. Breath of the heart and lungs. And guide it down the backbone to the Dantian and the lung. Take a breath there. And guide it down the legs to the opening spring points in the bottom of the feet. Take a breath there. And take a couple more breaths. And just feel the feet connected firmly to the ground. Energy of the body settle down through the legs, down to the feet, connected to the ground. And when you're ready, palms out, rise up. Still feeling the heart and the brain rolling, possibly a little sensations around the face, the forehead. Just imagine that you're standing under a waterfall and the water is just falling down, falling over the body, rushing down to the ground in a wave. And one more. last thoughts or questions? All right, thank you for coming. Enjoy the week.